Welcome friends. With the basic idea of vectors, matrices and norms in linear algebra, let us today learn few more concepts of linear algebra in the context of machine learning. So these salient points are basis, span and vector space, eigendecomposition, singular value decomposition and pseudo inverse. So let us start with the basis and vector space. So those who have studied vector space, they are well acquainted with the idea of basis, span and the definition of vector space, but let us introduce it in the context of machine learning. So basis is the minimal set of vectors, the linear combination of which can determine a large number of vectors. So this large number of vectors is the all possible combinations of the basis vectors and so called as vector space. It means there is a minimal set of vectors called as basis vectors which will linearly combine together to form infinite number of vectors, and the entire possible combination of such vectors will be called as the vector space. Let us understand it with an illustration. Suppose we have a three-dimensional coordinate system. So this is along the x-axis, this is along the y-axis and this is along the z-axis. So any vector on the x-axis can be represented as 1, 0, 0. So I can say that this is bx equal to this. Any vector along y-axis along and on the y-axis can be represented as by equal to 0, 1, 0. Similarly, any vector lying on the z-axis, we call it bz equals to 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, like this. So any vector in this three-dimensional coordinate system could be represented as a vector, say vector A equal to the linear combination of alpha bx plus beta by plus gamma bz. So it means that this is the minimal set of vectors, it is bx, by and bz, that will form the entire three-dimensional space of the vectors within our context. So that is why bx, by and bz together will form the basis vector, the set of basis vector, while the all possible vectors in this three-dimensional space will be called as the vector space. So based on this information, let us define the span. The span. So all possible combinations of the basis vectors will form one or more vectors that are subsets of the vector space, and these subsets of the vector spaces are called the vector subspaces. These vector subspaces are formed by the spanning set, that is the basis. So spanning set here is the basis, from which one or more combinations of such vectors are formed, which are basically the subspaces of the vector space, and these are said to lie in the span of the spanning set. because suppose I take the example again through illustration of the x-axis. This is the x-axis. So suppose this is the point 1, so which is equal to 1 0 0. So for this one dimensional space, we can say that this vector bx is the basis vector, and any other vector on it, say x1 or x2 or x3, like that, this can all be expressed as a linear combination of this basis vector and this vector, say x1 x2 x3, like all these vectors are the subspaces of the vector space, which is the x-axis, that is the one dimensional vector space. So if I say that this is basically the unit vector along x-axis, so vector x1 is k1 ux, then vector x2 is k2 ux, vector x3 is k3 ux, where ux is nothing but the basis vector. So we can express all these subspaces as the linear combination of the basis. So all vectors along x-axis form the vector space with the basis bx or ux. So all possible subspaces of the vector space which are formed from the spanning set, that is the basis, will form the span of the basis or span of the basis within the vector space. So let us go further, as we have already studied in the past few lectures about eigenvalues and eigenvectors, and today we proceed further with the same knowledge to understand what is eigen decomposition. Actually, eigen decomposition is the concept which we are looking for the further understanding of machine learning within the linear algebra topics. So for that we had to learn about eigenvalues and eigenvectors. So today we study eigen decomposition. So eigen decomposition is basically done for a square matrix A. So if A is a square matrix, then its eigen decomposition has a specific form, so which will be obtained through its eigenvalues and eigenvectors. So if A is a square matrix, then eigen decomposition of A will be given as A equal to, the vector V is the matrix found from the eigenvectors of A, diag, that is the diagonalization of the eigenvalues of A and V inverse. So we can write here clearly what is V. V is the matrix formed from the eigenvectors of A. So like that I shall do it up to Vn, where n is the order of A. Similarly, lambda is formed from the eigenvalues, so lambda 1, lambda 2, like that up to lambda n, the transpose of this. Then A can be written as A equals V capital lambda and V inverse. So capital lambda, we have studied that this is the identity matrix and its dot product with the vector of eigenvalues, so it is a diagonal matrix. So lambda is equal to diag lambda. Lambda is a vector. Suppose we get A such that it is symmetric. So if it is symmetric, then A can be expressed as Q capital lambda Q transpose, where Q is orthogonal matrix of the eigenvector. So orthogonal eigenvector matrix of A, and capital lambda, as we discussed, is diagonal eigenvalue matrix, diagonal eigenvalue matrix. Read the terms very carefully, such that any diagonal element of capital lambda corresponds to lambda I and determines Q colon comma I, because the Q column comma I is the ith column with all the rows in the eigenvector matrix of A. So lambda I is the eigenvalue of A, for which we have the diagonal matrix as capital lambda, and capital lambda I is the element of diagonal value matrix corresponding to the ith column eigenvector of the eigenvector matrix of A. So you have to read the terms very carefully. Let us illustrate eigenvectors of Q. So for illustration, let us take a 2 by 2 system. So suppose we have two eigenvectors v1 and v2 are two eigenvectors of A, then because Q is orthogonal, because v1 and v2 are the columns of Q and Q is orthogonal, it means that I have the L2 norm of v1 as 1 and L2 norm of v2 as 1. So suppose I have the eigenvalues of A as lambda 1 equals to 2 and lambda 2 equals to 5. Then let us see the impact of this when we decompose A. So because Q is orthogonal, so it is both orthogonal and orthonormal. So therefore suppose I have this v1 as unit vector like this. This is its length is 1 here, 1 over here, and we have v2 like this. Its length is also 1 over here. This is also 1 over here. So this is plotting Q. Plotting Q. Now I am multiplying the matrix A with its eigenvalue vectors. Then actually we will have this lambda 1 is 2, so v1 is multiplied by lambda 1, so this length is actually 2 and direction is same, and v2 is multiplied by lambda 2, then its length is 5. So there are only scalar changes, but there is no change of direction. So this is plotting so we can have lambda q, which is same as a q. So let us go further to understand the concept of singular value decomposition. So let us write the title: singular value decomposition. So what is this idea, singular value decomposition? We are studying all these concepts of finding inverse of a matrix or decomposing a matrix using the square matrix A. So when a matrix is not square, we decompose it into singular vectors. So singular vectors instead of the eigenvectors, and singular values instead of the eigenvalues. So for a matrix of order m by n, suppose we have a matrix A of order m by n, then A is equal to, upon singular value decomposition, u d v transpose. U d v transpose. So what is u? U is the left singular value matrix of order m by m, and it is orthogonal. V is right singular value matrix of order n by n, which is again orthogonal. So matrix is orthogonal means it is both orthogonal and normal. So D is a diagonal matrix, so we have D as diagonal matrix. Diagonal matrix. The order of this should be same as A. So this is m by n. Then it is not necessarily square. So may not be square. So here the elements of the principal diagonal of D are called as singular values. Elements of the principal diagonal of D are called as singular values, because instead of eigenvalues we are having here singular values. Now how do you find U over here? U equals to eigen vectors of A transpose. V is eigen vectors of A transpose A, and D is obtained as the dot product of the identity matrix and square root of the non-zero eigenvalues of either A transpose or A transpose A. So the eigenvalues will be same whether it is A dot A transpose or A transpose dot A, and the process of finding the eigenvalues of A transpose is same as finding the eigenvalues of the matrix A as we had done earlier. Pseudo inverse. So we have mentioned in short that how to find out the inverse of a matrix to solve out the linear system of equation, but if you want to really learn how to find out the inverse of a square matrix, you may refer back to any standard text on determinants and you will get it very easily, as you have learned in your school days or your early undergraduates. Here we are discussing pseudo inverse because there are situations when the matrix is not a square matrix. So if the matrix is not a square matrix, how do you find out the inverse of a matrix? So in the system of equations we studied that Ax equals to y, and if we take the left inverse, A inverse adamant with A adamant with x will give you definitely A inverse y. So that is actually x equal to A inverse y. So this left inverse I am declaring at as B. So B equals to A inverse, and in case A is not square, then how we can get the inverse of it? So in that case we say that we find out the pseudo inverse A plus equal to V D plus and V transpose, and sorry U transpose. So where U V D are the, where U V and D are the singular value decomposition products of A as discussed earlier, and suppose we have D of the form like this. Suppose this is where number of columns is more than the number of rows, so we have S1, S2 up to Sn. Here we have 0, here we have 0, here m by n, and we have n is greater than m. So in that case we have the pseudo inverse of D as, naturally it should be a tall matrix of n by m, where n is greater than m, and we have to find out the non-zero elements of the diagonal and take the inverse s by s1 by s2 up to 1 by sn, and other elements are 0. So here the consideration is that if n is greater than m, means columns of A are more than the rows of A, then there are many possible solutions. Then there are, I should write here, if in A n is greater than m, then there are many possible solutions of x equal to a plus y, that is the pseudo inverse y, and the acceptable solution will be the acceptable solution will be for minimal value of L2 norm of x. So whatever be the different combination of solutions we get for x, we will find the minimum value of x2 norm, and that will be the final solution acceptable. Similarly, if m is greater than n, if in A m is greater than n, it means it is taller than its inverse. In that case, then x is obtained for minimal value of ax minus y L2 norm of this. So I am going fast through this concept without giving much illustrations or examples, because once we learn the machine learning fundamentals, that is the core machine learning topics, then wherever we will use these concepts, we will understand it further detail. But for the time being, just have an idea of the basics of linear algebra. So this much is for today, and for the next class we'll come up with few more basics of linear algebra to be used in machine learning. Friends, if you find this video useful for you, please like the video, and if you have not subscribed so far, please subscribe it and set the bell icon so that any new upload will be notified to you. And we can always send me queries through my email ID machinelearningbasis@gmail.com. My students can send me queries through WhatsApp also. Thank you for your patient listening.